I got so excited. Assignments. Is it here? Oh, there it is. Wait, is this recording? Oh, okay. Right. So the assignment is about MongoDB, and this is the data model. You're not responsible for the whole data model. You're only responsible for these questions here. Questions, types of questions, and answers. So this over here: student, answer, question, quiz, and multiple choice. So this part over here, right? And this is listed here that you're responsible for the student, answer, questions, multiple choice. Everything else, user, faculty, course, none of that is for this particular assignment. Right? That's what we worked on earlier, right? Faculty, course, sections, modules, lessons, topics, widgets. That's previous, right? What we're going to be using, we're going to be creating a widget. We're going to be adding to our widgets, right? We're going to be adding a quiz widget as we go. But before we can add the widget and render it and whatnot, we need a data model to be able to store all this information. Okay? So to do that, we're going to create a quiz widget that's going to have many questions. So one quiz can have many questions. Each question can be either a multiple choice or a true-false question. Obviously, there's tons of other types of questions, but for this assignment, those two. Right? The multiple choice questions can have the choices, a comma separated number of choices, and the correct answer, which of those choices is correct. And then true, false, whether the question is actually the response, the correct answer is true or false. Okay. The actual question and the number of points. And then here's a mapping table that maps the answers from a particular student to a particular question. Right. So this allows you to play around with inheritance. Yes. With one-to-many and a mapping, right? So you'll get a chance to exercise, everything that we talked about today, right? On how to implement all these different types of things, right? Forget about students inheriting from user, right? Forget about quiz widget inheriting from widget, right? We'll do that a little later, okay? So you're asked to create a DBS that creates a database. Create a mongo schema for students, multiple choice, true, false, to create a separate schema for each one of them. Also create a generalization schema for a single model for multiple values. So I give you here some examples for question schema. Right? There's many types of questions. Right? So this tells you the question type, which is multiple choice or true, false. And so for the multiple choice, these are the values, and for the true, false, you have true, false here, right? Then we ask you to create a schema for widgets. A widget can contain multiple questions, and we're suggesting that you use a reference, right, that references so you can populate them if you want, right? Implement many-to-many. This is a mapping table that points to two. That references two records, right, with what we just did in class, right, so that you can use populate to retrieve them, and then create the models. This is the equivalent of a DAO. Another popular way of calling these are models. Right, these are high-level models, right, which is basically the DAO, right, the DAO. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh, okay, so these are creating these are asking you to create a DAO that is going to use all those models, right? I'm going to use all those models to do the following. The first one is going to truncate the database, meaning it's going to erase the database, right? So there are no students, no answers, no quizzes, no questions, no nothing, right? And then it's going to populate the database. The populate database is going to take data from a mock data, right? The mock data, I think we provide you with the mock data, do we? Yeah. the mock data is that we want you to create 2 users, right? Two students. Create the following questions. The following two true and false and 2 multiple choice questions. And these are the answers that some students, that Alice, these are 4 answers from Alice, and these are 4 answers from Bob. And Alice answered 2 true and false questions and 2 multiple choice questions. These are the answers that each one of them did, right? So implement using all that mock data, right? You're going to truncate, you're going to populate, you're going to create the students, you're going to create the questions, you're going to create the answers. Once you have all that, implement the following finder methods. Find all students. Find students by ID. Find all questions. Find question by ID, right? And then create a RESTful service that allows you to execute the populate, execute the delete all. So this removes this. This calls the truncate. Just drops not drops, empties all the various things. Now notice that these things that need to execute in a particular order, right? They need to execute first truncate, then populate, then insert all the data. So you're going to have to do the technique that we looked at today about synchronizing all these things occurring in that particular order. Yes, if you don't synchronize it, it's not going to work, right? And then these endpoints allow you to populate the data, truncate the data, populate the data, and then create a new student, retrieve all the students, retrieve a particular student, modify a particular student, right? So all these API for manipulating them, right? I will provide some initial code for you to get started on this, some sample that you can get started on that. In your populate database, it's going to create all these. Notice the IDs. Please use these IDs. Please use these IDs. And for that to happen, the data types for these IDs, see that? Underscore ID has a type of number, right? It could have been string as well. That means that we are responsible for creating these IDs. Right? We're not delegating to a database to create these random unique identifiers. Right? We're creating them. And the reason is that we want to populate them with the actual values, with the actual IDs that we're giving you, because the TAs are going to then generate, they're going to create a whole bunch of test scripts. They're going to validate all these. If the IDs are not the same IDs, their scripts are not going to work. Right? So make sure that you use these IDs, you use these values, so that they can run all these test scripts and query. They're gonna call they're gonna use Postman, right? They're gonna use Postman. They're gonna create a whole bunch of tests on Postman. Well, we already have them, and they're gonna validate to see, query all students. Are there the correct number of students? Do the students have the correct username, passwords, and all that? Yes. All right. Awesome. Thank you.